Hello there, I'm Nu-Trix, and today we're looking into two new plugins from Safari Pedals. They're actually not pedals, that's for once, it's not a pedal, but they have the same ease of use that Safari Pedals usually have. Now these are rack mount units, emulation of rack mount units, or emulation of the mix lunchbox type of format. So the two of them are aimed at controlling dynamics. So a leveler, but it's level or. And the other one is a compressor, which is in this case, a bus compressor. It's a Sun Bear Bus Compression. Because we're talking about dynamics and sound quality, I will not do any type of treatment on the sound of the tracks themselves for the effects you're going to be hearing, but I will not treat it in another fashion than just using the plugin and of course the compression that YouTube will do to this video, depending on how it's going to be treated by the system. So put your headphones on because you're going to hear details only with headphones for this one. Let's dive in. Clean drum, simple drum. Let's go with the Sun Bear because I would actually use this, let's say, to glue the drum sound together. Yeah, that's more than glue, that's distortion. So it can be very in your face, like this, or it could be just taming it. So if you look at what this does, Sun Bear, you basically have a compressor with different features on it. The compressor is laid out in a normal fashion. On one side, you get the input, and as you play it, you see the input volume coming in, and same thing with the output, how it's coming out. You have automatic gain. If you click that on, when you move this knob, the other one also changes in the same inverse value. If you turn it off, then you can actually turn this off, bring that in, or the other way around. So you have a separate control over the two for your control. Wild is just bringing out a specific Safari pedal type of energy to the sound, so it has another texture to it, a bit more wilder if you want. But let's turn it off for now. This section here, you have a control between saturation. Do you want the saturation? I'm going to turn it off for now. This section here, you get saturation. Do you want to be able to turn it on or off? So you want saturation or not? And do you want it to be a tape saturation or a tube saturation? Again, it's not a big saturation like it's going to be obvious, but it gives you the warmth of the tube or the texture of the tape, depending on what you want. And the compressor is basically what you expect out of a compressor: attack ratio, release, and a threshold. You have a side chain, filter. Then gravity and glue is a different thing. Glue is more tight in a way. So I would say that by default, you want to use this when you use, let's say you do a sub mix, and then you combine, let's say, a drum and bass and percussion into one mix. And then you might want to use more of the glue to bring it together. Whereas gravity kind of opens up the high end. So if something is already too kind of muffled or kind of stuffed, if you go with gravity, it just opened the high end, the headspace, the overhead if you want. And of course, you can turn it off. So you could use this just for saturation if you want. And let's go back to saturation here. Take notice that on one side it's tape, the other one is tube, but everything in between is a combination of the two. So you can mix a tape saturation with a tube saturation to the liking of your own. So you can just adapt it to what you want. So it's not just an on-off switch, it's actually a mix of the two. And the output, you have MS matrix. So if you had something recorded in MS, or if you want to trick it into making something weird or control other ways, you can go turn it on and then you can play with side. Or you can compress only the mid or the middle. What you have here, if you look at the screen here, it changes. When you're in matrix mode, you have the MS value. And if you're in stereo, you get left and right. And if you click on it, it changes the value. So if I'm pressing play again, you see? If I turn it back on. So there's the range of the graphic if you want. Just listen to some of the... I love that one. It's in your face. It brings all the reverb that you didn't hear. There's a lot of them, but some of them are just too. What you also have is a clipper here. You can use a clipper if you need to. Let's try this on the piano. Without. The clean little piano sound. Could have very subtle ways if you want, or you can have it saturating this thing. I often put the presets for guitars on piano to have that, and I'm curious to see what it does. Just bring it up, it's clean. Now this is too much, it saturates, but that might be what you're looking for. Because of a piano, maybe not. We'll go back to... Let's keep it like that. It's a clean compressor for this one. Let's try for the bass now. So without the effect, just a clean bass. If you turn it on, some saturation you hear. And you see the effect here happening. Let's try another one. I find it interesting, but it might not be what you're looking for each song that you're playing. But so it can do distortion or saturation. Still a surround saturation that's not in your face. Get that when it's sustained. Wait a sec. With headphone here, that sound at the back. So it's really just a question of which one you want. It's a compressor, so the goal is to control too much variation in sound and volume. This is interesting. So I'm going to go back to the bass that was more DI bass. I like that one. A little bit of saturation. I like that. So keep it like that for this one. So the next one, I'm going to turn these off, and I'm going to load the next one, which is leveler. Leveler is a leveler, which is basically close to be a limiter without being a limiter. It's a little bit different. Now this one imitates an actual leveler, but it's called leveler that existed, and you have an option of going with Mark 1, which is a little bit more noisy. Again, it's subtle, a little bit more noisy, and the Mark 2 is cleaner. If I turn it on, so you see the input coming in and the output, so of course I can bring more volume in. So you hear the attack, and the same thing, you can push the output if you want. So of course you can saturate. Now what you have here is the difference between Mark 1 and Mark 2. This tone is basically you want to have more high end or more muffled, more closed, more glued in. And you can pre or post, so the toning can be before compression, so it will push the leveler to that frequency because you're boosting these frequencies, or you can tune it or tone it after the effect. So it's depending on what you're trying to do. Here you have how it's going to respond. The level, bypass. So leveler, if you put level and fast, example for the bass, you're going to have fast, you're going to get more attack, and then it will compress, and every time you press back, it's going to... But if you want slow, it's going to, first time it plays, all of them will be compressed all the time. It doesn't have the time to come back. If you go with level, it's really just a clean leveler. If you go crunch, now you've got distortion or saturation coming in. So these two are just different grain in the sound. The Mark II is cleaner, a little bit less noise. I'm going to stay with the leveler that is slow. I'm going to keep that for that. Let's try the drum now, or the piano. Again, you get that noise if you want it. You can saturate with the crunch, or have it just clean. But when you put this on a more complete sound, meaning like a bus or a mix out or a master out, for example, let's play that on the drum. Turn it on. Again, if I don't have it, you hear more of the dynamic punching and crunching it. Now, it's now you hear more clearly how the tone does something. It's kind of darker, you know. It's open high frequencies, and if you put it in post, it does it after the effect. And if you add distortion or the crunch version, so it will react differently depending on what you put in, of course, but you hear it slamming now, you know? And this, it's a voice, but I like to try anything. A bit saturation again, the crunch makes it, and sometimes that's what you're looking for, an in-your-face kind of drum, you know? Sometimes it's just controlling it. So this is what you got. You have two plugins, one called Level Or, and the other one being Sun Bear Bus Compressor. They're different in the way they work. They have different controls. They have different texture and sound to it. I really like Level Or because of the toning you have here. This part here makes it very nice to just add, you know, bring out some headroom or brightness in a darker sound, or the other way around, compress it and make it darker really quickly. So this is really great. I like these two. I mean, the fact that Separate Pedals makes these quick and easy plugins, I mean, they don't do a lot of things, but what they do, they're efficient at it. And quickly, you can get a texture. Of course, you need to learn each of them how they sound. I like the crunch of this one and the toning of the Level Or, just to add the brightness or bring it darker quickly. So I really like that one, Level Or. That's it. Stay safe, make more music, and see you soon. Cheers.